Peace. This is Gula Ra, and today I want to go and talk about a subject, um, a pack, talking about packs and agreements. So this particular title will be "Packs May Not Be Easily Broken," right? So when you're thinking about a pack, there's many aspects of a pack. You have those a contract agreement where they have a certain obligation that they supposed to fulfill to get a benefit from it, right? A contractual agreement in the form of a pact. Then you have a blood pact where people make pacts. You probably heard of stories where you had two friends or relatives, they would have cut themselves and then they would mend their uh, hands or whatever together to basically form an oath or a pact. So you have a blood pact. People also do this with spirits, right? And there's another pact where a person may dedicate one room to a particular spirit that they serve. And every annually they may throw a big feast for that particular spirit, right? You have that. Some people may actually make an agreement, a pact with spirit or source, that they will wear particular colors all year round. Sometimes, yeah, some people um, in certain traditions they have to wear certain one particular color for the rest of their lives. So people will associate a particular color with the spirit and deity to show their allegiance. That's another form of a pact. And another one would be more so where they have spiritual spouses where they will actually give up intimacy with the human encounter and they would actually, you know, say themselves for the spirit or married to the spirit without human contact. Those are pacts, right? Even in society, we see different pacts people make, or societies or sororities, brotherhood, sisterhood, they make a form of a pact of allegiance. And in many ancient times, probably still now, they will actually prick themselves, write a letter, and basically put it on a scroll or a book to show their allegiance, a seal of approval, right? So the reason why I'm bringing this up, pretty much tying into the things I want to talk about concerning a pact may not easily be broken, right? A movie I seen recently, kind of this is the reason why I'm going to go to the subject. It's called Holes. Not going to give a little bit of synopsis. Not going to go through the whole entire movie. It was this particular family called the Stanleys, and this Stanleys had this 150-year curse that was on that particular bloodline due to the fact of the first Stanley ended up meeting a medium or a witch uh, for help. You know what I'm saying? He wanted the hands of marriage of this particular woman, but he was trying to find a way how he can actually win her over. So uh, Madame Cerrone, she basically told him, well, look, this is what you got to do. You have to get this pig, or raise it, raise it, take it up the hill, give it water, and the more you do it, the more bigger this pig is going to get. She said, once you do that, you're going to present it to the father. But once you're able to get the hands of marriage of the woman that you desire, you will have to take me up the hill and do the same thing, because I guess she wanted to get like the fountain of youth or something like that. So he did what he said, got the pig, went to the father for the hands of marriage of the lady. But come to find out, to his surprise, he ended up seeing another man who presented a pig to the father too. And basically the daughter had to make a decision who she wanted, and being that she was undecided, he got frustrated and then he basically gave the pig to the father and he left, but he forgot to go back to Madame Cerrone to take her up the hill. So from there, a curse fell on that particular four bloodlines, to where they was stricken with poverty. So Zeroni the fourth, he was walking and his tennis shoes fell on him. Something happened to the way where he was framed for stealing shoes. So he had to go to a all boys prison. Um, basically a male prison or something like that for children. But long story short, he ended up meeting uh, another male there whose name was Zeroni, which at that time I don't believe he knew that that was pretty much a bloodline ancestry of that particular one. But they ended up becoming friends, and they made a way of escape. And Zero, I think his name's Zero, yeah, he ended up getting ill. You know what I'm saying? He ended up getting ill, and happened so he had to basically take him up this hill, and the hill was called God's Thumb. But I'm gonna get back to that later. And somewhere down the line, he was able to get him up, and I believe they ate an onion and drunk water. And when that happened, his Zero, I think it was Zero, um, somehow that that particular assignment that his first father supposed to have done, the fourth son of Stanley's was able to basically transmute or translate that out of that particular bloodline to the woman that his grandfather supposed to have made an agreement. Whatever was on him broke, and what happened? The father of Stanley, he was like an inventor, and he was trying to come up with this particular remedy for fungal or athletic foot, and somehow he was mixing up ingredients, and a particular herb or something fell into it, and he came up with the solution for athletic foot. Long story short, they begin to be prosperous, but now this is where I get into talking about the God's thumb. And a lot of times when people make allegiance, you know, particularly in ancestry, but making allegiance to a particular group or a particular organization, if you don't fulfill that particular request, all types of form of um, poverty or all types of misfortune will fall on that particular bloodline, right? And a lot of times when we make agreement, you know, you heard of the thing with a pinky swear, or when you get ready to make a deal with someone, you shake their hand as a way of an agreement, right? But going back to the part where it was talking about the God's thumb. Now, when you think about um, your hands are planets. Each finger represents a planet. Your pinky represents Mercury. Your ring finger represents the sun. Your middle finger represents Saturn. And your index finger represents Jupiter. But your thumb represents Mars, and in between the palm represents Venus. Okay? Tying something in here together, right? And being that they went up to uh, God's thumb, and in certain cases, a lot of people will prick themselves and actually do a seal of approval. But understanding that the thumb is Mars and in between the palm is Venus, that symbology of an agreement that he made with Madame Zeroni has a lot to do with he was seeking for love. You know what I'm saying? Mars and Venus, masculine and the feminine. But I don't want to get sidetracked, but I'm using that as an example, right? But going back into talking about how a pack is not easily broken, there are times when all of us, um, all walks of life go through many different circumstances, whether it's relationships, whether it's finances, whether it's health. And a lot of these situations could have a lot to do with our ancestors or the sins of the father, or they said the seven deadly sins. And it falls amongst the children, right? And a lot of the times we may not be aware of transactions or agreements that our ancestors made in the past. I can remember something in references, whenever we was in the astral realm, um, we set an assignment that was going to come on Earth and do a particular assignment, but then a lot of times when we get here, we forget what those things are, right? I heard something to reference of, how everyone have their lips and they have that little crease there. From what I was told, that Archangel Gabriel lets you know your assignment before you get to Earth, right? And when you get ready to go back to Earth, Archangel Gabriel will press his finger on the mouth as a way for you to actually forget what your assignment is. And then you have to go through the actual journey of discovering what those things is. But going back to the aspect of talking about our ancestry, a lot of times when pacts are made, a lot of certain individuals of a particular bloodline have to be the ambassador and have to do the work. Okay? And a lot of the times when it deals with generational, you have generational blessings, and then you have generational curses. And when you're dealing with generational curses, a lot of times spirit will actually tell you exactly what your assignment is to fulfill. A lot of things, the more things that you struggle with is the assignment that you need to do in this lifetime. So, for instance, if it may be a situation where you may have relationship issues, man and woman, right? Love, right? A lot of times, and in your family lineage, the woman may not keep a spouse, or the man may not be able to keep a spouse. And a lot of times, when people was looking for companionship, they would go to someone and they may assign them to a particular spirit and of love. And they basically say that if you open up this door for me to have love, I would serve you to the end of time. And then when they get what they desire, they don't fulfill their particular agreement. And then that energy may actually make it where they're not successful in relationships. There are situations where you may have someone who their particular lineage don't supposed to consume alcohol, right? Everybody in that tribe may know that. And let's say, a grandfather may fall in hard times, and at that particular time, alcohol or hooch was susceptible when it was very prosperous. And in a hard time of need, he may discover someone who teach him the ropes on how to make moonshine or whatever, and he starts to selling alcohol and not realizing another family that he sold it to might have had a lot of passions and might have had a lot of dreams, and then alcoholism may basically destroy that dream that they had. And then when that happens, and that person doesn't supposed to actually do that type of line of work, the spirit of alcoholism could fall on a particular bloodline because certain situations they didn't supposed to do, right? So a lot of times when talking about a pack is not easily broken, right? And a lot of times when you're dealing with ancestry, it's very important that, because a lot of people want to know, well, I have ancestors, and some of them were Christian, some of them were Muslim, right? And then a lot of times people don't like putting them on the altar because some of them can actually interfere with your spiritual development. But when you're dealing with ancestry, you do your prayers. A lot of times it's very important to, when you call on the ancestors, you would be, I'm calling on my ancestors of light, who love me in life and who love me in death. That's like the basic call. But you can get more specific, as in I call upon my ancestors who were holistic practitioners. Okay? Now, a lot of times you're not going to know your ancestry. You know what I'm saying? You may know, your grandmother, great grandmother, or great great grandmother. But a lot of us don't have that technology or information. Well, they got what is it, Ancestry.com, but some of us don't have that particular knowledge or information to do that. But a lot of times when you're dealing with ancestry and there's situations where you don't know them, a lot of times you would call them by their occupation or something that they was good at. But of late, sometimes it doesn't really matter which one, or you have a picture of them. It's just acknowledging them. There's situations where, when you're building up an altar, calling the ancestors of light who love me in life, who love me in death. But I also call on the ancestors who were good at being being mechanic. That's good at mechanic work. If you're in the field of fixing cars, or if you're in the field of music, I'll call upon my ancestors who were skilled in musicians. Now you're navigating and you're moving out the particular ancestor who can be in opposition against you. But I won't necessarily count them out, because if you have ancestry that were religious, there's always one that was religious, but they also use the Quran or the Bible to do their spiritual practice. So you could also call on the ancestors of light who love me in life, who love me in death, who were skilled at the book and using it for a holistic purpose or a metaphysical purpose. When you do this, you're directly going to the ones that would be more of the work with you. You understand? But this whole concept of this message that I'm saying, that a lot of times pacts may not be easily broken. And the reason why these pacts may not be easily broken, because whatever agreements what you made or what your forefathers made have to be fulfilled. And a lot of times when you're healing your ancestry, a lot of times you're going to know what your family issues is. And a lot of times when these issues come to you, they really saying, okay, this is which you need to work on. And when you're doing it, you have to elevate those particular ones who have those issues. Okay? So again, on this path, when you make an agreement, first of all, you made a pact with spirit before you got here. You know what I'm saying? And you have to fulfill a certain assignment. But when you get here, spirit gives you clues on what those things is. And I was telling someone, the very thing that you struggle with is the things that you need to work on. Let's just say, good example, anytime you're dealing with an opposition, you want to look at the opposition as if it's a physical person, okay? And when you look at it as a physical person, you would know how to interact and to remove that opposition out of you. Because a lot of times, when people can't see something, it's hard for them to identify with it. But if you could put a picture to a face of a situation, you will be able to know how to go about addressing those things. So this is just a real quick video talking about how a pact may not easily be broken, okay? But at the same time, you have to work out, how they say, your soul salvation. You have to work on those things for your ancestral lineage and so forth. So this is a quick video talking about how a pact is not easily broken. So this is Ogula Ra. Peace.